What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another EC video. Alright guys, so we got a lot to talk about here today. I want to do a quick review of the current banner that's going on yet again, and this time comparing it to the upcoming brand new non-limited Zack and Matt banner. And I want to explain the weapons that are coming out, why they're going to be pretty damn epic, but also why they fall short in comparison to what people might expect. So first off, I want to say this. If you guys are not aware, this game came out September, I think September 20 something. So most likely, I mentioned this in the last video, we're going to probably be celebrating some form of a half anniversary event. I thought more and more about this, right? I like something about Evercrisis, and I think this was a really good move. I thought for sure that the release of Rebirth was going to be Evercrisis's biggest release of the year in terms of banners and everything else. I'm happy to say I was wrong. And the reason why I'm happy to say I was wrong is Evercrisis really is trying to have its own identity. I thought for sure, guys, this was like when this game first came out, we all talked about this, and I think everybody can attest to this who knows anything about Final Fantasy. We all thought, so I'm shrinking right now slowly in front of you guys. We all thought that Evercrisis was going to be just a game to build up Rebirth, right? A lot of people said this from the beginning, and you guys don't have to quote me on this, but you can check out a lot of my comment sections when the game first came out. It was like, everyone's like, oh, we're all going to just play this until Rebirth is out, and then we're going to drop this game. Or, this is just here until Rebirth. A lot of the comments were, in fact, that. And as the game matured, the game also started to become better and better, and people started to respect the devs and the game itself. And we all, for the most part, stuck around, surprisingly, for quite some time. And now we're almost at 6 months. And I'm really glad, honestly, I'm going to be real with you guys, that the Rebirth game itself isn't dictating the success of EC. I think Evercrisis is a very special game. I think it's a perfect balance between enough content and a lot of time to relax. And it's a very good balance, an incredible balance of the devs taking care of their community versus being fair. And then lastly, and I say this wholeheartedly, and I've been saying this for a very long time, and I stick by this, it is the friendliest free-to-play game I have still ever played. I know a lot of people are going to say DFFO, and I agree, it's another Final Fantasy game that was extremely free-to-play. But this game here, for me personally, because I didn't have a stake in that game, this is the ultimate game for me. And again, I played thousands, and I'm saying thousands of gachas for the last 11, 12, 13 years of being a gacha player. So I just want to say, first off, I'm happy to know that the release of Rebirth doesn't dictate the success of EC or damper it in any way. I'm glad that EC is trying to find its own identity. So kudos to them. Now, with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the two weapons that are currently going to be happening, okay? So we all know this weapon currently obviously exists, right? This crossover weapon for Tifa. Let's talk about the good, obviously, about this weapon, okay? I own it, so I'm going to go to it, and let's just look at it. And then we're going to talk about Zack's new weapon and Matt's new weapon, and where I think you should be going for if you are going to be putting your currency towards either one of those. Because a lot of people have come to the point where they're like, okay, well, realize Rebirth is not going to have another, like the demo of Rebirth is not going to have another crossover event. Okay, we don't know if the release of Rebirth will, okay? And I want to make that absolutely clear. I said it last video, and I'm going to say it again. The actual, like, event of the Rebirth game coming out might have something for it, and we might see another like crossover-ish type event. But now I think we're kind of okay not to worry too much about that. Okay, let's talk about the obvious stuff first, okay? So guide gloves. And before I go into this, Red 13, yeah, no weapon. It's crazy, right? The dog just keeps getting pooched every time. So let's talk a little bit about this weapon. So first off, Zangan gloves, physical non-elemental damage. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Zack's and Matt's weapon as well while we're on the topic, so you guys can see it and we're all on the same page in regards to what we're all referring to. Okay, so let me go to the data mine and let me bring up the weapons. Okay, they're gonna be right over here. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this over here. So inflicts up to 14 1400 again. Non-elemental physical damage. So again, non-elemental physical damage. So the same thing. Difference is, of course, this is 13. Okay? The other one is 14. So technically, Zack's has a little bit more damage, but there's a very big but here, and I cannot lie. Those other brothers can't deny that 5 ATB is way worse than 4. So you got to think about how you want to score. I don't know. I try to rhyme there, guys. Just give me a little bit of credit. I try to be MC Pain. What up, yo? 40 years old. I should not be doing that. That's embarrassing. But yeah, this is 5 ATB for an extra 1,000 damage versus 4 ATB, which is huge, for only 100% less damage. Okay? Step number 1. Step number 2. Physical attack, boost physical ability. 2 of the best physical ability things you can have for a trait for physical attack. This here, where is it? It doesn't actually say. So I don't know what this is going to have for our abilities. Now, I'm going to take a wild guess that it may have the buff extension and it may have P attack. Just a guess. P attack and buff extension. A guess. Again, this is not 100% sure. I don't think any of these actually show it. Let me check out something real quick, guys, before I put words in my own mouth or put my foot in my mouth. I'm just going to go into the EC Twitter, see if they've promoted it at all in this game yet. They have not promoted it yet. Okay, so this is still technically considered, this is technically still considered the a leak, okay? So I'm going to assume physical attack, and I'm going to take a wild guess here and go with the increase of buff and debuff extension. Or maybe just buff in this case, okay? So again, just a guess. So Tifa's wins that most likely for sure because she's got the best traits possible. And she's got the best trait in regards to the actual one that you want, and that's the boost physical ability at 48. So this is going to be easily the best one to go with in regards to the trait. So lower ATB, lower damage, probably the best R abilities you can get. Keep that in mind. Now, the one advantage Zack does have, and this is huge, is the fact that he does have the drastically increase his own physical attack. Now, the word drastically, if you go back and look at any of the descriptions that say the word drastically, that is mid to high. If you get it to OB6, that's high to high. You're going to be at high at OB6 no matter what. So that is a big time boost to attack damage. So this has an advantage in itself, but you do need to cast it twice before OB6 or once with OB6. So for those who are going to be going with OB6 version of the ceremonial slice, you may want to actually go with this one, especially if Zack is your main. Now, if you main both Tifa and Zack, this is where you kind of have to figure out what you want, because the thing is, you have to also take the costumes into account, right? The costume for Zack gives him the boost HP, but also only gives the buff and debuff extension for this one, while Tifa's is the most unique physical costume currently in the game, and the fact that she has her own. Let me go to it. I'll show you guys real quick what her costume looks like. Actually, hold on. Let me go back to the co-op version of this. I have a better version with co-op there, so I can give you guys that example instead. Right? If I go here, you guys can see her outfit has something that nobody else does have, and that's the physical ability mastery. This is on its own. This is not an R ability. This just flat out gives you a physical ability damage plus 15%. So you have to take that into account when you're putting together this whole thing. So far, guys, Tifa has, and we don't know how the animation is for Ceremonial Blade. It could be a very long animation, giving Tifa probably a faster advantage, because Zangan Gloves is a very fast animation for damage, right? So right away, that gives Tifa, again, another advantage in the department here. Look how fast this is, right? Little boost, boom, 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 boom. And that's very fast. So right away, I think this banner here is the clear winner for damage, overall damage. Now, that's not to say Zack's banner is bad by any means, shape, or form, right? It's an incredible banner, and I think that is something to consider for things to come in the future. And not only that, another big thing to remember is this is not a limited weapon. This is now a standard weapon that will be coming out and that you can wishlist anytime you want. So if you don't care about the costume, this is something you can go for and maximize over time. Now, the other big benefit here to this account, of course, or this banner, is going to be the Centipede, which is Matt's new healing weapon. Here we have increases all physical defense. It doesn't say the word drastically, so this is going to tell me it goes low to mid. maybe mid-max. Because again, usually the word drastically is what indicates high, and then restores 59% of their healing potency. So you can get both half of Barret, because Barret can technically go to high with Assault Gun. You can get some of Barret, I should say, and then a really good healing weapon. So this Centipede weapon here is the start of brand new things. Now remember, we don't know either of these are abilities, nor do we know the support materia that come with it. So right now, as it stands, Tifa's is still better because of two reasons. Number one, the lower ATB cost, right? The animation is faster, and the outfit itself is unique. It's the first physical ability outfit of its kind. Where Tifa's kind of is a little bit of a downfall is the fact that it's a crossover event that you can't put on your wish list. That's really the biggest problem, right? So if you're not willing to, if you've been holding on to your crystals and you're debating on, do I go for this or that? That's really going to be your drawback. Is if you are going to go for Tifa, you do want to aim for at least to get yourself OB6 in this glove if you can. If you can't, and you know you can't summon for it, I would probably hold off. But with that being said, I think Tifa's outfit is absolutely worth getting. I think it's the best physical outfit in the game, and I'd be remiss to say that people shouldn't go for it. So that's just my suggestion on it, guys. I'm saying the ceremonial sword looks incredible. It's probably going to do really well. It's the first real power creep weapon that's non-collaborative. And I would imagine we're going to be seeing more of these things to come where the percentages are that high. Maybe some with 5 ATB, maybe some with 4. But I bet my money on it. If you see any 4 ATBs, they're going to be the same as Ultimatic. They won't be the same as as Tifa. So you won't see 1,300 with 4. You're probably going to see 1,200, maybe 1,150. But I don't think you're going to see the full 1,300 that Tifa's gloves currently offer. All right, guys. That is my take on this whole situation. Again, shout out to the devs for having their own identity for the game. And to you guys, I hope this kind of helped you go one way or another. Either wait for Zack's or Matt's, or completely skip it and wait for Sephiroth and Cloud, whoever your main units are. But I also want to make sure I got my thoughts out there about these the crossover event and the weapon before it's gone for good. All right, guys, this is Payne. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.